How's camp been so far?
Camp's been good. Our offensive line has gotten a lot of good work, against a lot of good looks, and we feel like we're getting better in every facet of the game: run game, pass protection, everything.
So just going back to the off season, the move to center and trying out there and experimenting there. Just can you walk us through like what the coaches told you in the off season, when you sort of started working on your snapping, and sort of how it's all transpired since then?
I mean, it's been great. I've been able to get a lot of work snapping this offseason. The staff just feels like, both me and Bose have like a similar analytical mind. Like we both like to really analyze the film and get into the nitty gritty. So they thought it might be, good to try me out there and see how it works for both of us. And we both come with the same approach that we want to help the team in any way possible. And, for me, getting to play center, which is something, I've only really gotten the opportunity to do at the Senior Bowl, and do it again has been great. It's felt good.
So at what point in the offseason did they sort of approach you with the plan of cross training there?
It was pretty early in the offseason, yeah.
What was your reaction?
My reaction, as always, is I want to help the team in any way possible. Whether that's left guard, I played right guard, and now I have experience at center. So, however they see fit, I'm willing to plug in there and help best way I can.
When you were drafted, was there a conversation of this potentially happening down the road, moving you to center or trying it out?
No, not really. Here, I knew it was always a possibility for me because, I'm on the shorter side, and you always get put into a box like, you're a shorter guy, you can play center. But, I always knew for myself, I'm a very analytical guy. I like to, look at the defense, look at tells and stuff like that. So, playing center is a step in that process. So.
What's the vibe like with you and Bose? I know you guys are close to play next to each other last year.
Yeah.
How we kind of lean on him at center?
I mean, it's been great. I have a lot of voices, a lot of people in, the organization and in our room that I can really rely on to learn from. Bose has played a lot of football at the center position, and he's played some guard too. So, I get to talk to him, ask him certain things about playing center, and he's open in that way. We also have Coach Hardwick, who played a lot of great football for our team. Coach Devlin was a center. And I still have, people I can rely on that, played for our organization that were great centers, like Corey, who's always willing to help. So, I just feel blessed that I have all these resources in our room.
Have you talked to Corey?
Oh, absolutely. Corey's the best. He's willing to help in any way that he can, anybody. So,
What have you thought of his transformation, losing all that weight, Corey?
it's amazing. He looks great, and I'm just really happy for him. Yeah.
So just how important is it going to be now to get reps in pads at center in practice, something you haven't done so far this camp?
Very important. That's something, the staff and our room have been talking about a lot. Bo's playing guard and me playing center. We got to get the live reps together to build that chemistry. So that's definitely something that we've been talking about and thinking about implementing. So.
Do you know which day you're going to be out there at center in pads?
I don't really know what day specifically. Usually I just come in and they let us know, okay, this is your center day, this is your guard day. But I'm willing to play wherever I can. So.
You mentioned having Coach Hardwick in the room. Just how early on did you spend a lot of time with him and pick his brain a lot, or just kind of how much did he help you there?
Absolutely, Coach Hardwick helped me a lot. He was really the one that helped me dial in my snap mechanics and figure out what's the best way for me to snap the football. Every center is different with that. And he was just like an open book to me, and any question I asked, I could call him and he'd answer it for me. It was great.
It's not an easy transition, to go from guard to center, at least from the outside. One can think it's not for anyone to try. So obviously the coaches saw something on you, to even give it a try. Is there anything particular that you enjoy about the center position, something that, that maybe has even surprised you to do it now?
Yeah, I mean, to what you said, I mean, I kind of take it as a challenge. It's something that people say is difficult, but it's something I want to tackle and I want to conquer that challenge. But, being the center, you're in control. You make the IDs, you identify the fronts, and that's something, even when I play guard, I like to take ownership of knowing my role and knowing, what everyone else around me has to do too. So I think that is the number one aspect for me that I've really enjoyed, making all the IDs, all the line calls. That's been great.
How are you doing like vocally with that? Like you might have known it obviously.
Yeah. That's been going well. It's been going really well. I think, a lot of older centers gave me a lot of advice, and it's just like, obviously we study as hard as we can to know the playbook in and out. But at the end of the day, you gotta make a decision, and you gotta live with the decision you make and be vocal. Because the worst thing you can have is everyone's not on the same page, especially at offensive line. So
You mentioned, taking on and embracing this challenge. Is there anything, added challenge that has taken a little bit of time just getting used to this shift?
I think the main thing for me is just getting as many reps as I can. Not having played center before, every rep is valuable. So I try to take, as much, important care as I can with every rep that I get, so I can get all those learning experiences that guys that maybe have gotten a lot more reps than me have gotten. So I'd say just the challenge is, trying to get the reps in and fit it in where I can, like getting snaps before practice, getting snaps after practice, getting snaps in my room, wherever I can. So, yeah.
Being at center and in charge of IDing and changing protections and communication along the line, do you think that can improve your game in any specific way, taking on that type of responsibility? And if so, in what ways?
Absolutely. I feel like playing center can even help me become a better guard in some sense. Like having ownership over the entire scheme, knowing where everyone's supposed to be and how things are supposed to shake out, especially playing the interior line positions, guard as well. It helps you paint a picture of where you need to be and where everyone around you is going to be. And it just gives you better, communication and synergy amongst the offensive line. So even as a guard, if I know where my tackle is going to be on every single play, and I know where the center is going to be on every single play, that really shrinks down my role of what I need to do. So
do you think that the responsibility is more for a center, and as a result, you kind of have to know more about the offense, like everything about the offense?
Yeah, absolutely.
And what do you think? What do you think Mekhi has brought at right guard for you guys?
Yeah.
Outside of size.
Mekhi, he's a large human, and he plays with aggression. He's a great guy in our room, just like a great human being. And I think just like his physicality, his physical tools that he has are special, and he can really help our room, especially him being next to Joe, two huge guys that have a lot of weight and mass behind them. They're definitely going to have some really good B blocks. So.
And then just last thing, the team declined your fifth-year option in the offseason. Is that something for you that is a motivating factor at all as you head into the final year of your contract now?
I mean, I think for me, my main priority is just helping the team win in any way I can. I think all of those things will play themselves out. I'm for the team, I'm for my teammates and everyone else around me.
It's been really good. It's been a great schedule. We got in a few days earlier, so, a little bit of love on the back end, which has been great. Getting home to be able to see the kids before they go to bed has been awesome. The team dynamic is amazing. Guys are competing, guys are getting after it. So it's been a really good camp so far.
How have you felt about the rotation, Zion getting some work at center, you getting back to left guard where you played, in 2019 and 2020, just how have you felt about it?
Yeah, I knew that from the jump that that's what we're going to be doing. I knew we'd be kind of rotating and playing some different positions and stuff. So, wherever I can compete and be a part of this team and help this team out any way I can, I'm here for it. So, enjoyed it. Love working with Zion. Zion's an amazing competitor. He brings it every single day. So, it's just been fun being able to kind of work some center and guard talk between me and him and kind of swapping back and forth.
So when you re-signed and agreed to come back to it, that was already an understanding that you were going to be working at both center and left guard, and Zion was going to get some time at center.
Yeah, I knew I was competing to start. I knew that was kind of coming in, that we're going to be competing, and I've always been a competitor, never back down from a challenge. So I love the honesty and upfrontness of this front office and everyone else in this organization. So we're here to compete. I think everyone's kind of on the same boat. If you're not getting the job done, it's next up. So just rock and roll and have the best five up there.
You played guard a couple years ago. How much did you have to kind of tap back into that? If you've played center more in the last couple of years?
Yeah, I've mixed in a little bit of guard through the last couple training camps, different stuff, but nothing like long term. Definitely went back and watched some old film and just kind of picking up some old tips for myself. So, but no, just it kind of like riding a bike. You just kind of figure it out. You might wobble a few times, but you eventually get it.
What about Zion's skill set do you think lends to playing center as a guy who's played left guard and center in the league?
He's athletic. He's smart. He can move well. He dives into the playbook. He does everything the right way. I mean, you can look at the guy and tell the guy takes care of his body. He's just he's a gifted freak. Like he's just an awesome competitor and someone that I'm pleasured to have next to me, whether it's at guard or center. He's a great addition to this team and has always done such a great job for us.
Is it easier to move guard to center, center to guard?
I think they both have their challenges, but either way, it's both pretty much there's definitely different techniques and little nuances to it, but I think they're just like kind of their own position.
What do you think adding this versatility to both your repertoires kind of will help the interior offensive line overall?
In the old words of Joe DeAlessandro, so he was my coach over in Baltimore, my offensive line coach, passed away a couple years ago. You got to cross train. You got to cross train, and it helps the team. You never know what's going to happen out there. A shoe comes off, a leg, something happens to your leg, something happens to your foot, whatever it may be. You have that guy that can step in and be able to play that position is a huge asset. So.
Bradley Becker. I know this is an early part of camp, but when you do have to go up against Thule, Khalil Mack, a bunch of good edge rushers, does that only make you better as an offensive line group? Is it kind of like a iron sharpens iron mindset?
Absolutely. Those guys are some of the best pass rushers in the league, and we're lucky to have a handful of them. So it's great. You have to really sit down and be patient on those guys. But at the same time, you got to sit with power because they have the power as well to hit you with it. It's a great iron sharpening iron mentality.
Okay. How much have you worked with Zion just on him being vocal at the center, right? I have to make a call, check. He hadn't had to do that before. Have you talked about with him about how to do it once he's out there?
Yeah, we've talked about it for sure. It's just if something bad happens, you just got to move on. Like you can't sit there and sit in your think tank that oh no, I messed up last place. Like next play depends on you. You're the central control center. You're the one who gets everyone going on the right page. So who cares what happened the last play? Just move on and let's get this next play going right.
Zion talked about the added responsibility of playing center and having to understand the playbook to such a deep level and understand what's going on around him, not just on the offensive line, but the offense as a whole. That added responsibility when you do move from guard to center, what can it do for a player who has a skill set like Zion, the intellect, obviously all the physical tools, added responsibility? What do you think you can do for him as a player?
Once you really get it figured out and you get everything nailed down, it really slows the game down for you. You get out there, you're reading defenses, you're reading coverages, whatever it may be, and the full inside out of the scheme. Not just worried about the left side or not just worried about the right side, but you have the whole scope of everything, and it really does slow the game down for you.
How critical continuity is for an O-line? Sometimes we want results quick, but the fact that you guys, it's your second year, you guys know more each other. I know we have a guy this year that the vast majority of the O-line, you guys know each other.
Yeah, for sure. We still have that same five that we had coming in last year. We've added some more pieces as well. But, it's for an offensive line, it's reps. It's just getting reps together. We break it down every day on fist. 5 is 1. So we just continue to work those reps, work those double teams, kind of figure out how each other works, and kind of play off of each other. So yeah, the continuity is huge.
A player like Mekhi, bringing him in, what can he do to elevate the play of the entire group?
He's a massive human being to start with. But no, he's really in tune to the game. He understands the concepts. He understands, the movement aspect of the game, and to be able to just move guys off the ball. I mean, this guy is so powerful. He's a huge human being. I mean, I'm used to being kind of one of the bigger guys on the field. You turn on the film now, and I look like a shrimp. So, being next to him, Joe, it's just, it's great to have that mass of a human that can just move people in the way that he does.
What is his personality brought to the room?
You know, he fit in from day one, you know, just right away, you know, great personality, great sense of humor. You know, we hit it off from the jump. So, I mean, he's been such a great spark for our room too.
What stood out to you about Joe coming back year 2 versus when he was first year last year?
The experience. I mean, just Joe, you know, with his experience and the next levelness of his training and everything else. I mean, he's just prepared all off season. He's come in from the day one of camp. He's playing low to high. He's finishing on blocks. He's doing everything that he needs to do, and just continue the upward trajectory for himself. You know, there's really the sky's the limit for Joe. I mean, he's got all the assets. He's got the right mindset. He's got everything you want in your right tackle. So.
And just with Zion, obviously to this point in camp hasn't been at center with pads on. How big of a step do you think that's going to be when he does get in there in pads and has to face something closer to what he's going to face again after?
Yeah, you know, you go in there and you figure it out. You know, you have to go in. You have to, you know, at some point we just got to go in and figure it out. I mean, I was at that point one time in my career, so you know, he's going to figure it out. He's going to do great. We've been learning from our mistakes since we started in the camp. You just continue to build on those and just don't make the same mistake twice, and you know, he's going to be fine. So.
Back here again, super quick. I see what's on your hat. You and Zion was obviously wearing it. What does it obviously say, and does it have any special meaning?
Yeah, so my wife actually played college basketball at the University of Alabama. She was a center. She played there for 4 years. She was a center there. I was a center there. So, you know, we're just meant to be together, obviously. But no, just just the dedication and work that these women put into this game, and just to bring it to such a high level, to the level it is today, you know, and you know, to be able to go and watch my wife play in all those years of college was so awesome. I was so proud, and just the path that she set for herself and our family is just amazing. And my daughter, you know, I'm going to have a daughter that'll be growing up, you know, hopefully playing sports, and you know, just to look forward to watching her and seeing kind of where the game goes from here.